Hi, I'm Executive Chef Steve Young from Edge Steakhouse at the Westgate in Las Vegas, and I'm here to share a recipe of one of my favorite dishes to cook at home. It's very simple, it's very fresh. It's coming up on summer, so I thought this would be a perfect, appropriate recipe to share with you today. So I have a ribeye steak here. It's about inch and a quarter thick. You can find this in your grocery stores. I prefer to go to like a butcher block or a Larry's Great Western Meat, something with good quality meat behind it. But just a little chef trick, I like to season it ahead of time, 45 minutes, and let it kind of sit on the counter. And it kind of gets that nice seasoning inside more than what you would do just if you salt and pepper and kind of put it in the pan right away. So just a little thing that I like to do. And then, I just really wanted to share an alternative way to cook a steak other than the grill. So for me, this is my favorite way. I also have a grill, but once you kind of look at this technique, it's actually very simple, and you'll probably choose this over the grill any day. So I've been preheating this pan for quite some time, and you cut all your vegetables and stuff like that, and then go from there. But basically, a little rundown of what we got. We have some grapeseed oil. We want to use grapeseed oil because it has a high smoking point, and you're going to get a really nice sear and not destroy your oil. So you definitely don't want to cook with extra virgin olive oil. That's a big no-no. You have a nice herbs, rosemary, thyme, and garlic. You got butter, and if you wanted to add your own seasonings, like I like Montreal steak seasoning sometimes, or some garlic powder, feel free. Totally cool. So this smoke here, this is very good smoke. Don't get scared. Don't think, you got to cook by hearing what the steak is doing in the pan. That sounds weird, but you listen to food, you touch food, and you cook like that. So I'm going to go in with oil. We've got a couple tablespoons. See all that smoke coming out? That's very, very good right there. I'm always going to lay meat away from me. Very, very important. And I always grab it by the bone so you don't damage the meat. So you hear that? So if it splatters, it's going that way, not at me. Very, very important. So we're going to be 2 minutes right on this side. Nothing, but just let it cook and do its thing. And then we're going to flip and go from there. But a couple other things that we're going to do to make sure that this meat is going to cook really well. So you're going to cook it in an oven about 450 degrees. I always cook meat on a rack. So what that does is going to let the meat and the temperature of the oven really cook the meat well, as opposed to cooking it on like a flat tray where the underside is going to get very soggy and not seared very well, because you're doing such a good job to get that sear that you're going to get a very even cook. So a little rundown of the vegetables while we cook that steak in the pan. So we got romaine lettuce, which is just really chopped up. Very nice, fresh, crisp romaine lettuce. We have cilantro. I love to put cilantro in salads. It's really nice and fresh and seasonal. And then I made a little dressing with chipotle, lime, and honey. So that's going to be the dressing for the salad. You have toasted pumpkin seeds. You have cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, radishes. So a bunch of fresh vegetables that is essential for summertime. So it's been just about 2 minutes. You can look. We're almost there. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. All right. So now we have that steak. We seared that one side. We're searing the other. We're about 2 minutes per side. If you have a little thinner steak, you probably don't have to go so aggressively. But this is the point where you're going to get a lot of that sear, and a lot of that flavor is going to come once we add this to the pan also. So this is good, but just if you're cooking this at home, you want to probably turn your fan on really high and open some windows. That would probably be my only suggestion, but the end result is going to be totally worth it. So now you can see you have the color on the opposite side. So now we're just going to drain some of that oil out. Okay? Then you have a little bit of fresh oil, because the fresh oil is going to help the butter not burn. So that's very, very important. If you were to just throw butter in, it's going to completely turn brown, and it's going to burn, and it's not going to be what you want it to do. So this is just unsalted butter. You have rosemary, you have a cut garlic clove face down, and now you turn your steak so it's right in the corner, and now you just baste. When you can see the butter and it's foamy, that's what you're looking for. If your butter is no longer foamy, your butter is dark, and it's going to be gross, and then your steak isn't going to be what you want it to be, because all this flavor is going into the steak right now. This is the whole purpose of pan-searing a steak, is to infuse the butter, but not burn the butter. So then we're going to do it to the opposite side. Again, about maybe a minute for each side. But you pay so much attention and put so much detail into this steak that you want it. You're gonna love the end result here of all that nice herby flavor. So you're still gonna cook it in the oven just a little bit, but by the time you take it out of the pan, you're gonna be probably about half to 3/4 of the way already ready to go. So we're ready to flip. Again, grab by the bone. I don't like to grab here, because you grab there, you could puncture the meat. You see how you're getting that caramelization that you would get on a grill, but you're just doing it all in a pan. And of course, this takes practice with the spoon, but after you do this, it won't be an intimidating process anymore. And you won't have to go to the grill, because in my opinion, I like steaks with this flavor better than the grill, unless you're cooking on like charcoal or something like that. But it's just really nice to watch. Like, I can sit here and just watch this bath. All right. So we're ready for the oven, okay? So this is the color we're looking for, right here. This nice caramelized color. You have it on both sides. All the thyme and garlic and the other stuff is all infused into the steak. So I'm actually gonna take the temperature, right? You can touch, you can feel, you can do a lot of different things, but I always take temperature. It's the most accurate way to do anything. So you know exactly where you're going. I go right in the bone, a little bit towards the center, and I go from there. All right, so we're looking about 5 minutes at 450 degrees. I like to pull it out around 115 for medium rare. It's gonna carry over, and I'm gonna warm it slightly right before I'm ready to go. I like to serve medium rare around 125. All right, so the steak just came out of the oven. It was in there for about 5 minutes. Home ovens also are not as good as, restaurant grade ovens, so you might need a little bit more time, but that's why a thermometer is very, very important. So I like to pull it out at 115. I prefer medium rare. If you want it a little bit further, I provided a little step-by-step temperature gauge for however you desire your meat. So we'll let that relax. You definitely don't want to cut into that right away, because you'll have juice all over your board and it won't be in the steak. So right now the juice is kind of going back into the steak, and then it's going to be very, very nice about 5 to 7 minutes. So we'll make our salad. So a lot of these vegetables I cut up with a mandolin. You can use a knife, but I like one of these. I have one at home, I have one here. But this gets the vegetables very, very thin. So you buy your carrots, everything's very affordable. It's very easy, you just gotta watch your hand. You don't wanna slice your hand off, but it's very, very good. And once you get going with it, you will get very fast, and you can do these things very, very accurately, and it will be very thin and super nice. But that's the end result there. So I would recommend getting one of those from like an Avalon or something like that. But that's what we have here. So in the bowl you have your carrots, you have your cherry tomatoes, you have a couple pumpkin seeds, save the rest for on top after, cucumbers, bell peppers, both red and yellow. Then you have scallions or green onions. You have celery, Then you have, I like to do a little bit of seasoning here with a little kosher salt. So the vegetables get a little bit of seasoning with a little squeeze of lime. So that's gonna kind of get that, because when you season a salad with greens and then the other stuff, it kind of is hard to season the vegetables itself. Okay, so now we're going in with our lettuce, which is just that romaine, that nice fresh romaine. We have cilantro. I just use the leaves. The stems are really good, but just not for this. And then you can use the stems for something else. Okay, this is the dressing. Very easy to make dressing. I'm sure everybody has a blender at home. I would assume you can make it in a bowl, but a blender is super easy. You zest limes, you juice the limes, honey, rice wine vinegar, and then a little bit of chipotle. If you have, I like it a little bit spicier, so I put in one whole chipotle for all this, but you can go more or you can go less, whatever you want to do. But now we're just gonna kind of drizzle this around. Probably about maybe 4 tablespoons. I don't like salad super wet, but you have to have enough dressing to kind of get the job done too. And then a little bit of extra salt, because now it's just on the thing here. A little bit of pepper also. I always like to use a fork. Use whatever you like, but I feel like the fork doesn't really damage this stuff. And of course, the most important thing about making anything is figuring out how it tastes, right? So you gotta taste your food as you go. If you don't taste, you're gonna be in bad shape. All right. So it's really nice because you got the really fattiness of the ribeye, and that's why I kind of picked that. But you have the acidity from the lime, crunchiness from the vegetables. It's very, very healthy, very seasonally. So you could also substitute out corn, avocados, black beans, tortilla cheese for some of these other ingredients, and you have like a kind of a Mexican-inspired salad, which is also really, really delicious with the same vinaigrette with the chipotle and the honey and the lime. So now we're just gonna plate up. Get a little bit of everything. The bowl. So I saved the radishes for the end. I like to put those on top, just because I feel like the crunch from that kind of gets lost when you dress a lot of it in the salad. Good salad. Okay, and then save some of those other pumpkin seeds right for the end also. All right, so now our steak is ready. We're gonna put those here, and we're gonna slice up our steak. All right, so whenever you slice the steak, put it in a position where it's comfortable for you, because you're gonna obviously remove the bone first. The bone is over here, then we're gonna cut it and then put it right on the platter. So the bone's there, I'm gonna cut right here. The bone comes right off very easily. Then you turn it, so you have 2 different parts of the ribeye, and again, that's probably why I like this too, is you have the eye, which is a very nice part, but this is the cap. So you can actually just eat this. We sell this at Edge Steakhouse. It's one of our most favorite cuts. We do a Wagyu rib cap, but this is a much tender, more tender steak than probably one of the anything. It's so flavorful and so tender at the same time. But then we're just gonna slice. Nice even slices. Now you have a sliced ribeye with a nice fresh salad with radishes and pumpkin seeds, carrots, celery, cucumbers, bell peppers, so many nice crisp vegetables. So this is just one recipe for me to you, and I'm sure I'll be back with many more to come.